evaluator, but this is just for getting feedback from the audience itself. Okay, let me introduce you to this person. I asked him the same questions. What would you like to be in your next avatar? And his answer was pretty interesting. He said he wants to be Krishna. And the reason why he wants to be Krishna is because he says you can steal things, flirt with multiple women at the same time, fight and kill people, and still get worshipped by everyone. And his avatar, his motto for this avatar is "Don't worry and be happy." So please help me welcome Amit, who is going to give his 5th speech titled "First Impression is the Best Impression." First impression, best impression, Amit.
It takes just a quick glance, every few seconds, for someone to create an impression about you and store in its memory for forever, whenever you meet for the first time. Every day you meet a lot of new people, so every day, every time, somebody is forming a new impression about you and storing it. And these impressions can be really hard to change. So making these first encounters extremely important. And because these first encounters determine the rest of the relationships you will have with that person. Today, I'm going to talk about how to create a good first impression. First of all, let me tell you, it is very easy. All you have to do is appeal to the 5 senses of the other person in a way that the senses like what you have to offer. It is because the brain processes all the information which it gets through the senses. Senses, as you know, seeing, hearing, smelling, touching and tasting. These are the 5 senses I'm talking about. And the brain gets all the information through these senses, filters it and creates an impression it stores in the memory. And every time you meet some person, you always try to reinforce the same impression which you got the first time. So that's why it makes it very difficult to change the impression once it is stored. So let us see how these impressions are made one by one by going through each of the senses, each of the 5 senses. First start with the seeing. First thing a person notices about you is how you look, how you dress, how your hair are, if you still have them, when like Santosh doesn't have, or how you walk around, or if you are standing, how is your body language, like if you are standing with the arms closed, standing in a corner very silently, or you're in the middle of a group in an animated discussion with your hands moving all around here and there, and you're laughing and cracking jokes and everything. So all these things are noticed, and so are your other things like shoes, your facial hair. Facial hair you shouldn't have, that's why I shaved today. And I mean, a lot of things about your, whether you're smiling or you're just expressionless, can be very serious, or you can be very smiling as well. So all these things person notices and forms an impression. It is very easy to, I mean, it's not easy to change your looks you're born with, unless you're a Pamela Anderson, or you can afford a plastic surgery or something. But it is very easy to improve your dress sense. You can always buy nice clothes, and with some practice you can always improve your body language too. So that's the first sense. Coming to the second sense, that is hearing. Hearing, people need to be a little closer to you. What do they notice about your hearing? They'll notice how you sound, whether you sound optimistic or whether you sound confident, nervous, or you are a jovial person, very serious, whether you vary your pace when you speak, or you speak in a flat tone. So all these things a person will notice. And if you are hosting a party, what kind of music you are playing, that's also one way to judge you, to associate you with the kind of impression you want to create. So be careful about how you speak or what kind of music you're playing around. So those are the kind of things people notice. Coming to the third sense, that is smelling. That's easy to control. You know how to do that, right? Wear a nice perfume or deodorant. I mean, don't go by the advertisement that using the deodorant will get a lot of girls. I'm not advocating that. But anyway, it's very easy to do that. People who eat non-veg, raw onions, or drink alcohol, smoke, or sweat a lot, they have to be extra careful for controlling this. Because any of these foul smells can turn off anybody else. So you have to be careful if you are consuming any of these things. Coming to the fourth sense, that is touch. That is one of the most important. And you will not get to use this sense with everybody because there are people who are observing you. But those who only meet you personally or somebody introduces to you, they only get to touch you. So the most common gesture for touching somebody through a greeting is handshake, right? Either hug or a cheek on the cheek, right? But mostly it will be the handshake for the first time. So it is very important to convey a good message through your handshake. How do you have a good handshake? There are few things to observe. Once you go close to the person, you extend your arm. You have to keep eye contact with the person. You cannot look at the hands of the person, and you cannot be very serious or lost in your thoughts. You have to be smiling as well. And with a handshake, you have to make sure that you touch other person with a web. This is called the web of the hand. Can you see that? So this is when you extend your hand, you have to touch the web of the hand, not the fingers. Sometimes what we do, we just touch the fingers. That is not a good handshake. That will never give a good impression. So you have to touch this, and you have to easily, you have to be very easy on the hand. It's not a time to show off your power. And you want to crush other person. Oh, I'm more powerful than you. It's not a place to show that kind of power. So you shake hands and you pump it once or twice. That's it. Don't keep shaking like this for forever. I've seen people doing that. That's what I'm saying. And some other things to remember about handshake: don't do it while sitting down. That's not considered good. Okay, and don't sandwich somebody's hand in between your hands. Some people do that, right? They take your hand and just do it like this. And don't shake your hand and pat on the back at the same time. It's okay between friends, but not in a formal setting. And that's about handshake. About hugging also, it's the same. You have to be light. You can't crush unless you're meeting your old buddy or something. So these are this is the touch sense, how you gratify the touch sense of the other person. Finally, we have the taste, fifth and final sense. Taste is not about tasting the other person or letting yourself be tasted by the other person, right? It's about impressing the other person by your taste. By your taste in food, specifically food or drink, what kind of food you eat, what kind of drink you drink, how you present the food and everything else surrounding it, the decorations and everything. So that's why it becomes very important to select a right appropriate place. Mostly we meet people over lunch, coffee, dinner, or drinks. That's the reason, because we want to impress them by our food sense, the taste sense. And that's the reason our mother wanted to create lots of assortment when any important guest came to a place, because she wanted to appeal to their taste sense and create a good impression, right? So now you know how to select, why to select a good place when you invite somebody. Now we learned about the five senses, right? Is there a sixth sense to all this? I think there is. The sixth sense is the ego or the pride. Sometimes you try to overdo things in order to impress others, so that to satisfy your own ego or even to suppress anybody else's ego. Don't do that. Don't wear an Armani suit while socks have holes in them. Or don't select a 5-star restaurant when all you can afford is a local Punjabi dhaba. That's too much. That reminds me of the weddings in Delhi, including that of mine. They go overboard in presenting, all hi-fi things and creating a very good impression. They'll spend lakhs and lakhs of rupees in food, decoration, music and everything else. But the same people will haggle with a vegetable vendor for 2 rupees. That's hypocrisy. Don't do that. Thank you.